Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
So you obviously congrats on the win first. You already touched on it right after the fight, but how does it feel to get that return win and to do so in your second home country of the Netherlands?
It felt great because I've fought only twice in the last 4 years, and the reason is because I was sick and injured sometimes, and I couldn't and I wasn't able to perform. But I corrected the mistakes, and I figured out what I was doing wrong. I corrected it. I'm back, and now I'm here to stay. And
did you actually feel the ring rust? Because it seemed like in the first one, especially, it was kind of back and forth and was a close fight. And then it seemed like you started getting your rhythm back and your timing back. So was it difficult for you to kind of shake off the ring rust, or did you feel like you didn't actually have ring rust at all?
I don't think about ring rust when I fight, to be honest with you. That's for people who use it as an excuse to, but in the first round, it's also, once you find out the frequency of your opponent, then you change your game plan. And I'm not a person who has a strategy or a tactic coming to the ring. I think of it during the fight. I anticipate on my opponent during the fight, and I change my game plan from minute to minute if I have to, or from round to round.
And now that you have been back in the octagon, do you feel healthy again completely? And if so, do you have a certain kind of schedule that you want to do, like a fight two more times, maybe next year, or once more this year, or do you kind of have a schedule that you want to fulfill?
Absolutely. Right now, I'm under adrenaline. I don't know if something is wrong with me, but I'll wake up in the morning and feel if everything's all right. I think I'm fine. And my next fight will be soon, I think. And did you guys see me at the weigh-ins? I did this. Did anybody catch that? That was 8. And he went down in 8 minutes. So I predicted it to the minute, not to the round.
So do you have any specific plans who you want to fight next, or do you just want to fight anyone, whoever the UFC puts in front of you?
I fight welterweight. This fight was in middleweight because UFC was coming to Holland, and there was no way I'm not going to be on it. Last year I was sick, but this year I was a little overweight. I was a heavyweight, so I cut down to middleweight. I couldn't make it to welterweight, so I fought in middleweight. I'll sit down with my coaches and see what's best, middleweight or welterweight. From here, wherever I go, it'll be soon.
And do you have any prediction on how your next fight is going to go? Is that something that you only decide on like right before the fight, when you actually know who your opponent is?
Knockouts are in my nature. I'm not going to say every fight will be a knockout after this, but I'll definitely look for a knockout every fight because I'm not satisfied with any type of win. Even if it's a submission, I'm not satisfied. I only go for a knockout, for a kill.
Down in front. How did it feel walking out in front of that crowd this evening? They're very obviously highly supportive of you.
It was very emotional, honestly, because when I came to Holland 15 years ago, when I was 15 years old, 18 years ago, basically with empty hands, just with the clothes that I had on, and Holland gave me a second chance, and Holland gave me a home. So I took that second chance. And academically, I studied international business and languages. I have a bachelor's degree. And athletically, I also achieved to be in the UFC. And coming out here on September 2nd, ironically, fighting for my second chance, and thanking Holland for giving me the second chance, it was very emotional. And I hope this is something that I could give back to Dutch people for thanking them for the second chance that I got.
Was it difficult kind of managing those emotions when you walked in there? Some people have adrenaline dumps after having such a big high of walking into a highly supportive crowd.
When I'm fighting, I have this ability that I have mastered during all these fights, that I can turn off my emotions. Because sometimes emotions disable your ability to think. So when I was walking into the ring, there was one thing in my mind, that I'm a champion. Nothing else. But after the win, of course, you think of the other things.
There are so many names in welterweight and middleweight. Who would be a fun fight for you next? Who would you like to get in there with?
I think Matt Brown will be a good fight. And he says that he's immortal, but I will show that he's pretty much mortal.
So we did receive we saw a lot of support from Dutch fans, but how were the Afghani fans?
Let me tell you one thing, my friend. Afghanistan is on his head right now. I'm pretty sure this fight touches thousands of children. And they watch this fight live. And see, that's very important to me. Fame and money, I think I could do anything else and be successful at it, but I'm fighting because this touches people in Afghanistan. If I was a successful businessman, a few people would know me, but because I'm an athlete, professional athlete, I get to reach a lot of people and touch a lot of hearts with my talent and give people hope back home, because when I was a little kid, I didn't have that. But now I'm trying to give this to my country and my people. But that doesn't make me any less Dutch, because I also love Holland for giving me the second chance to be able to do what I do for Afghanistan.
So you were talking about helping Afghanistan. How popular is MMA in Afghanistan, and are you going to try to develop the skills there?
Absolutely. MMA is almost #1 sport right now in Afghanistan. Everybody is talking about MMA. Everybody's doing MMA. There are thousands of children that are in gyms training MMA. It saves their lives from doing drugs, because you can get easily drugs in Afghanistan. And they have this dream of becoming a champion and make it to the UFC one day. And this is something that actually inspires me to fight for them.
Do you have a message for your Afghani fans?
My message is that I will fight for them. I will fight for my roots, and I will try to inspire them. I'm not saying I will be their role model, because I'm a human being. I make a lot of mistakes. I don't want people to look up to me and be like me, because I'm not perfect. But what I do want is to touch them with my talent and give them hope.
Okay, my last question. You predicted the minute that you're going to finish this fight. Can you give us a prediction with your hands as well, when you're going to be the champ? How many years, sorry?
Well, I'm back with a vengeance to achieve my dream. And I'll be the champ by 2019.
At welterweight or middleweight?
Welterweight.
All right, congratulations on your win. After the moment of when the referee stepped between you two, did you thought it was a little bit late?
I'm in the octagon to fight. So as long as the referee doesn't stop, I have to continue. But I leave the referee do his job. I'm fine with it. If he thinks that Rob wasn't out, which he gave him a fair chance, I can't say anything. That's not my job. He's specialized in this job. That's why he's in the octagon. So I'm not gonna say anything about that.
And can you describe the emotion? You obviously said you were very emotional. Was it euphoric or was it relief because you came back after a very long time?
To describe this emotion, it's very similar to when I was a little kid in Afghanistan, when war broke loose from street to street, bullets flying, and we had this rush that we're gonna be killed or be dead any second. And we felt this kind of rush and hide because we heard the bullets literally flying over our heads. And you get this kind of rush. And once you win, you find that rush, that type of rush. That's why when I got out of Afghanistan, I was looking for this type of rush. And I found it in MMA. And you could call it that I'm addicted to this type of rush because I don't know anything else since I was born. I was born in a war, and I grew up in the war. And when I left Afghanistan, I was missing this. So I found it in this sport, and now I'm getting it from the sport.
My last question, your next training camp, will it be with Team Jackson Wink, like your last couple of fights, or will it be in the Netherlands like this preparation?
I think my next fight, my next training camp will be with Jackson Wink MMA because those guys are geniuses. I love training with them. They're great leadership, and it's fun to be in Albuquerque because everybody's helping each other, and to be among those great fighters and be able to train with them, it's an honor.
One final question from me. You had a few grappling exchanges with Rob, and now there's some middleweight. You would think you would expect there's a little bit more strength. How did you feel there was a big power difference in middleweight or in welterweight?
Well, yes, there is a power difference. He was a bigger middleweight, one of the bigger middleweights, and of course you feel the weight, the power. But I have, with that physical power taken aside, my punching power, I have the power to knock out heavyweights. So I have no problem fighting in the middleweight, but I think the best weight for me to fight is welterweight. Thank you very much.